Hi there, folks. Welcome back to PEEKABOOS.
Howdy.
So we done did the Terrifier 3. The Terrifier movies are kind of built different. They take after the old slasher movies, think Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, or Friday the 13th. Back in the day when those movies were made, they were kind of one-and-dones, made very cheaply, and then they ended up making a ton of money. After that, it established a tradition of trying to crank out as many of these movies as possible. And safe to say, not a lot of them are all that great. So the Terrifier movies are kind of a throwback, but made with a little more finesse. I'd call them like artisan slasher movies. The first Terrifier movie was made for the price of a Toyota Highlander and grossed the price of a small family home. And it was a simple movie. It was just about two college-age girls coming home from a Halloween party and realizing that they're too drunk to drive.
Yeah.
And responsibly, they decide to go eat first. And then in walks the antagonist of these movies, the monster, Art the Clown. The fun thing about Art is that he has personality in the same way that you'd like a Pennywise or a Freddy Krueger. He's entirely mute, so more of a mime than a clown.
He's
black and white color scheme.
Very Freddy Krueger-esque.
Yeah, he's got mean-spirited humor.
The laugh at you kind.
And he doesn't speak a word. The funniest thing he did in the first movie for me was, there's always this part in slasher movies where the damsel in distress or whoever gets the one-up on the monster. Like maybe you hit him in the head with a 2x4 or you get a little chance to run away. One of those scenes happens with Art. And just when you think he's frazzled and he's going to get knocked out, he pulls a Glock out of a leg holster and shoots. So the second movie, they're of a similar quality. If you like the first one, you'll like the second one. You might even like the second one better. They give you more lore in that movie.
If you enjoy the first one of these, the second one is even more gory. It's like you think it can't get any gorier than it does in the first one. And then the second one happens and you're like, holy cow, I did not see that coming.
That is another aspect of these movies. The practical effects are extremely realistic. So the gore in it is very prominent. I'd call it gore porn.
Yeah.
And this isn't something I particularly like in horror films, but I also like practical effects a lot. So I'm in this nebulous area of loving it, but also cringing. And that's my sweet spot in movies like this.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen traffic accident photos or like murder scene photos, it's gross. So we're going to do something different with this episode because I don't think I can describe a single scene with Art in it in this movie without it being way beyond what our listeners would be able to stomach.
That or you just wouldn't even believe me if I did tell you what was in this movie.
Yeah, it's a little over the top. There's a specific scene in the second movie that is that scene. It's the thing that's going to haunt you after you see the movie. And it was the thing that was making folks throw up on set. Mm-hmm. Almost every scene in this movie is that scene.
In addition to that, there are some cute little fun scenes. I think Art is his best when he is being a silly little guy. He just takes great pleasure in what he is doing, and for him, it is just a silly little game. No real goal other than kill some people.
Yeah, he takes a very perverse pleasure in what he does. I would rather be in any other series than a Terrifier movie. The things that happen to people in these movies are bad.
It's true.
So whenever you see Art, you know you're about to get messed up in one of the craziest ways you can imagine. But there will be moments where to break that tension, he'll be doing goofy shit. Like in the second movie, for example, he's at a Halloween store, just kind of standing in the corner. Mm-hmm. And it's Halloween, so nobody sees a big clown guy as suspicious. The main character is trying to make a purchase at the store and then quickly leave.
Yeah.
And every time it flashes back to Art, he's making a face and wearing a new pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, he's just having a good time. And I do like the little nod in this one to the glasses montage.
But let's just cut straight to the chase. I wouldn't recommend this movie for about 90% of my listeners. I like to think I know my audience pretty well, and this movie is not for you guys. It's a little more than you'd be able to handle.
Not even that. I have had the same complaint every peekaboo, and I'll say it again. These movies are turned up too loud. Turn the volume down.
They're not going to do that.
Which is why my suggestion is watch it at home. Wait until it comes onto a streaming service because I had my ears plugged as tightly as possible and still was too loud.
I would agree, but for different reasons. I'd say see it at home. If you're the kind of person that laughs at horror movies, or if you're in it for like, oh, that kill was so crazy. If you're that kind of horror fan, then see this one. If you're new to the series, don't start with 3. Maybe start at 1, and if that one's too crazy, don't watch the other 2.
I just don't like having more of his lore. He is the kind of being that I think is better not to understand. And in this movie, they give me too much, and I am left with way more questions than I have had with the other 2 movies combined.
Yeah. Damien Leone, the guy who wrote these movies, created Art as a character. He understands that the further you get into a slasher movie series, the more you have to kind of explain the monster, but he also kind of gets that that's what ruins it. So he feeds you just one new little bit of lore each movie.
It's kind of like how J.K. Rowling sets up something and then doesn't give you all of the pieces. So then you're wondering how the magic works.
And I fully get the impression that there's like a paragraph long explanation on Damien Leone's hard drive, but he's only going to give you a sentence of that explanation per movie.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to try to stretch the series out for as long as he can.
But I think that is going to be the downfall of this series, because for me, the first 30 minutes of this movie, not necessary.
So, like I said, the first Terrifier was very, very low budget. I'd say the amount that the first movie made is what the budget of the second movie was. And it made like 7 times that. So as these movies go on, the progression of like how it's filmed, the music, the amount of practical effects, it gets better per film.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a meta thing in the third movie that they're going to keep trying to outdo whatever you just saw in the previous movie.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say that all of these gore scenes in this one outdid the last one, but there just are so many, like Danny was saying, good practical effects in this that it's hard not to think that that really is a person who was not mauled by a chainsaw.
You kind of have to appreciate how real it is and how uncomfortable it makes you. I'm going to give you just a little taste, and then we're going to move directly into spoilers, because you really can't talk about this movie much without kind of ruining it for people. So if a clown dressed like Santa Claus covered in blood decorating a Christmas tree with organs might freak you out, this is not your scene. Meet us on the next Peekaboo, folks. For those of you with lead stomachs and maybe that sick humor, we're going into spoilers right now. We'll explain the story a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Spoiler time. Spoiler place. In Terrifier 2, they established that art was like a concept made by a artist. And for whatever reason, that artist died. Art came to life somehow, and now his remaining family, wife, high school age daughter, middle school age son, are living in the wake of his strange and mysterious death. But the idea is left that he imbued his daughter with some kind of Valkyrie-esque heroine power. Heroine as in like female hero. And at the end of that movie, she kicks the shit out of Art, but there wouldn't be a Terrifier 3 if it were that easy to put the guy down.
That's true.
There's not a huge plot to this movie.
No.
The thing about a good slasher film is it's just an excuse to let the monster loose.
Mm-hmm.
That's why half of them are like kids going to high school encounter a monster, kids going to a lake for the summer encounter a monster. Like that's all it really is. It's a Christmas themed movie. They want to establish a gimmick now because they realize things might get stale if it's just a guy killing people over and over again. And so you get Art the Clown dressed up like Santa Claus and coming down chimneys and messing up families.
Yeah, he loves Santa Claus. Every time he sees him,
Santa.
Yeah, every time he sees him, he gets excited, even pees a little.
Yeah, he peed on Santa in this movie. Basically, Sienna, the main character of the previous movie, and her younger brother, Jonathan. They are back in this movie. They survived their encounter with the clown 5 years ago. As is the same for every single slasher movie, the monster comes back inexplicably. There was a gap in time between the end of the last movie and this one. Sienna's now, I guess, out of college. Jonathan's in college. And they are both deeply traumatized by the events of the second movie, which everyone would be.
Absolutely. But their trauma leads in very different ways.
Yeah, Jonathan's a little estranged from Sienna because he realized that just being around her is too much of a reminder. And it seems like after the events of the second movie, Jonathan was a little more in depth with figuring out what went on.
After a while, these movies start to run together. And so my personal favorite part is the bar scene, where there's a Santa Claus and they're all just kind of hanging out, shooting the shit, having a beer.
After the 5-year time skip, Art's just walking down the street. He looks in a bar and sees that there's a holiday Santa Claus in there.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in to gush over Santa Claus, big fan. And Clint Howard plays one of the bar folk, which is a fun reference. It's Ron Howard's weird brother. Clint Howard, folks. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
So they're all in there drinking, whatever, having a good time. Art comes in, his usual no talking, miming ass self, and makes the barkeep uneasy. And so he doesn't want him to be there. But Santa, he says, it's like Elvis. Once you're in the suit, you got to give everyone the experience.
You got to give everyone the show.
Everyone gets the razzle dazzle. And so he amuses Art. He's like pointing at his hat. Oh, he.
There's always the point right before people realize how dangerous the person they're next to is.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's this weirdo? And then it's begging for your life a moment later.
Yeah. So they start drinking. They're having a good time. At some point, he gets Santa's hat off of his head and is wearing it. And then the guy's like, let's have a shot. And so they go to have a shot. Art takes his shot and then he spits it in Santa's face. And Santa's like, all right, buddy, I've been really nice to you. Like, this is it. And
initially, other people think it's funny. Art's playing it off as like, shots are gross. Why would you pour that for me?
Yeah. And beyond this point is when you realize, oopsies, we made a mistake.
Right afterwards, Art pisses his pants and gets on Santa.
Yeah.
Like looking Santa in the eyes pisses his pants. So everyone in the bar starts freaking out.
Yeah, so then they all start trying to fight. And Art goes for his magical bag, which I think that's a fun nod because Santa has his big old bag. And so Art carries around this big old bag.
He's got a trash bag full of Equipmonk murder tools.
Yeah, and in this movie it's red.
I think he steals Santa's bag after this specific scene.
Oh, that's probably it then. But he goes for his bag of tricks, and then Art just pulls guns out and just goes a-blazing on him.
Yeah, he pulls out the Glock and he does his thing, which is... Ugh.
And then he ties up poor Santa, nitrogens him, and then starts busting him open.
It's very Looney Tune-ish in concept, but in execution, it's real gore, and it's disturbing. Like, at one point, to test out the liquid nitrogen, he freezes a rat, then he breaks it on the table, and it just looks gross.
I mean, he beats that thing on the table. It looks like Jell-O and pudding like spews out of it. It's so gross. Let's talk about the next fun one, which is when Art takes that same Santa bag and Santa clothes and he goes to the mall.
To the shopping mall, yeah. So a mall Santa goes on break and Art jumps in. First, it's going well because the gimmick with Art is that people don't know how dangerous he is, and you as the audience are like, run, stop looking at him and run.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If I ever saw that face, I don't trust a clown to begin with. There's no way I would ever trust his gaunt little...
Yeah, clown covered in blood is like the international sign for fucking run.
Yeah, that's a big old nope from me. So there's little kids that come up to him. He gives them all little presents and whatnot.
And it doesn't take long for mall staff to be like, that's not our guy. We got to get this guy out of here.
And so security goes over there, but Art's sitting on the chair and he's already smiling because he knows one of the gifts that a kid is about to open up is a bomb and blows up everybody. It's so bad.
That's the kind of dark humor that's in these movies, is a bomb going off in a crowded shopping mall. A friend told me recently that since she had a child, she can't watch horror movies where kids are harmed anymore. And if you're at all squeamish about this, definitely don't watch this movie.
I think the part about this movie that's so frustrating is that there are just so many choices in this one that don't make sense without more lore. And so, like, the part where he sits dormant for 5 years just waiting for someone to stumble upon him and the little arm slitter woman. What's her name? Victoria?
Yeah. Lone survivor of the first movie.
Yeah.
She got very, very deformed in the face by Art. And then she kind of went crazy.
Well, and it's like now she has part of his magic. Like she can kill herself over and over and still be alive like him. And I don't understand.
The fresh lore drop in this movie is that Art and Victoria now at this point are
connected.
Serial killers, bad people that died. And then, like, I guess a demon inhabited their body directly after. And now that's why Art is, I guess, immortal.
And that makes me think that it is still, we talked about this in the car, that it is still Sienna's dad if it was somebody who freshly died. And they point to that in the second movie pretty hard.
Maybe. You actually get to see the build of Sienna's dad because you think, oh, if he's tall and skinny, Art is tall and skinny, but Jonathan is too.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, he might take after the father, but her father's kind of like a burlier dude. And that conceit to work, he would have to have been a bad guy. And I don't think he was like a serial killer or some kind of weirdo.
Well, but that's not true because Victoria wasn't a bad person.
She was after she got deformed and went crazy. I mean, granted, we don't know what...
Exactly. We don't know enough about the Lord. No.
It might be that at some point, but who knows? They're going to drip feed you more in the next movie.
Yeah. But for me, this movie had too much filler, not enough
killer.
There's a lot of killer in this. We didn't even talk about the shower scene yet.
I think we can just skip over a lot of these because
Yeah.
a lot of it's just so gratuitous and gory that it would ruin the only reason to see the movie, which is the new ways to traumatize yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not stuff I really want to describe. It would just be me telling you how people got mutilated and harmed.
Her arm got cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her
Yeah,
head was cut off.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Long story short, Sienna's visiting her aunt and uncle in the town, I guess, where Jonathan is now going to college. Art makes his way there, starts, cutting his way through people, and he eventually makes it to their house, kills everyone but Sienna. They have their boss fight for the movie, which is pretty fun, too. Art has a chainsaw. She has, the master sword, and they're just dueling in a house. I think it's something her dad made for her before she died.
But they didn't even do that in the flashbacks. That would have been a perfect time to elaborate on what that sword was and why it was so powerful against him.
Because in the second movie, they set up that Sienna, for whatever reason, is destined to be the force to stand against Art.
Despite losing everyone in her family.
So that little fight scene's fun. There's a part where Sienna's tied up and the rest of the family's being tortured. And Art's moving stuff from the end of the room. And he just makes a point to hit her in the head with whatever he's carrying every time he walks by.
I think for me, this movie had too much Victoria. She had a few little kitschy lines that I really liked, but she's not who I came here for.
She technically unalives herself in the beginning of the movie. So when she comes back, it's a demon in her body. She's kind of a deadite at this point. She's got the weird audio effect. She's really mean. She's got potty mouth. It was an interesting time. I don't know where it stacks up.
For me, it's my least favorite out of the three. There were definitely some fun things in it, and I love the Christmas theme, but even for Art, it's a little much.
I went through the first half of the movie thinking, I don't know if I really like this. But I think that's just because I watched the first and second one at home, where I had, distance from the screen. I could look away when I needed to. This is the first one I saw in theaters, and if you don't like it, I understand why. I get it. But for me, it was fine.
Movies are too loud.
It's true. In the 7th Peekaboo from now, I wonder if you'll still be having that same complaint.
I probably will.
You will. Spoiler alert. So, all in all, it was another Terrifier movie. The Christmas gimmick is fun. This one's gory as hell.
Yeah.
Most of you shouldn't see this movie.
Maybe I'd have to see it at home in a place where it's not too loud for me to really, truly appreciate it.
Shouts to Damien Leone. I do like the fact that he had one plan. He worked at it, and kind of like Kevin Smith with Clerks, he got his thing out there, and now he's moving up each rung.
Well, even though this one doesn't do it for me, it's still a great movie. The effects are well done. The music, the foley, the imagery, the shots, the everything, it's going to age well. And maybe I'll look back 2 Terrifiers from now and be like, oh, it was giving
Christmas
me
one.
more.
Yeah, the Christmas one's kind of fun.
But because I don't know enough about the lore, it just sets itself up in a way that it could be anything, but also nothing at the same time.
Maybe in Terrifier 4 or 5 when Art's in space, that'll be the new favorite. But these are movies for a very niche audience, and if you're not part of it, these are going to be very repellent to you. And after this, I'm looking forward to not having a movie this intense be a peekaboo for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see you on the next peekaboo, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm so tired.